Arik Levy. I'm in Paris, in the studio in Paris, and I'm born 63, so I'll let you do the math. It was a very jumpy, active, proactive space and place. And I was not so far from the sea, where I developed my love for the water, for surfing, for anything else that moves on water, in water, underwater, within the water, or being water. So that was my first passion. And I started painting and drawing when I was 14. And 15. Now I lived more in Europe than I lived in Israel. So I'm kind of flipping the record. And so I can look at all these things and say, wow, what did I get? How did I get? So yeah, that's childhood in Tel Aviv. The deepest impact on me is not the place, is the people. It's people that I meet. I always say and keep on thinking that is the right thing, is the world is about people. It's not about the places. It's not about the cities. It's not about the restaurants. It's really about the peoples. Yes, it is a control. It's a control thing. You have to control every phase, and you have to control it in a very pragmatic, dogmatic, advanced way. You have to have vision, but you also have to be very concrete. You cannot mess any stage in between the idea and the end product. And if you did, if it's the price that went crazy, and then you don't sell. If it's the production that was not calibrated and the product comes apart and it doesn't sell, or you get bad reputation. However you look at it, it comes back to you. The one thing that I would not like in both of them is a non-human action, fakeness. So everything that will bother me personally in both fields. Of course, I wanted to have the discussion with the Dalai Lama, and I still want to have the discussion with the Dalai Lama or with the Noah Harari and so on. And I still want to do it, and I still should think we should do it, only that at that time, and I think the time of the world when we were discussing it, was not the right moment, and the approach had to be a little bit more than let's just send him a letter. In Paris, the places that I like, it's not a place I go to take coffee every day, but it's a place I'd like to go because of what the place attracts to it. And this is the Café Fleur, which is great. And now that I think about it, the good old time was a Café Beaubourg, because that was the time there was no cell phones and and I hadn't had an office. So I would give. All my meetings were in that cafe. Sometimes I would sit there from morning to evening, had breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the waitresses knew me and so on. And I would give the telephone number of the cafe. So people would call me, and the guy, the server, would go, "Mr. Levy, call for Mr. Levy." Then they figure out I did this. So you have to stop giving the number here. We are not your secretary. But it took some time. So that's the cafe is a whole world. Awards and recognitions they have two different levels for me. One is an institution that created its own award because it's a marketing tool, because it's a way of working with others, because there's so many ways or reasons why an award or recognition, if it is governmental, institutional, university, and so on and so on. There's always a reason behind it. The real award and recognition is the recognition of the of the public. If I knew where my inspiration come from, I would go there with a big sack every day and, shovel in like 20, 25 tons and take it home and say, oh, I have so much creativity, so much inspiration today. Now, I actually, in end of 19, November 19, before this whole pandemic started, we moved out, me and Zoe, my wife, we moved out and the kids from Paris to Saint-Paul-de-Vence, to south of France, which is in the Côte d'Azur. So we really found our paradise, of which we are not only escaping, but we don't feel escape because it's our place now. I feel more like a gigantic sponge or a radar or a spider in the middle of this huge web, from a three-dimensional web. And I keep on being receptive. So I think that what I'm trying to do to myself, and I'm talking in a meditative way or in a personal way, psychological and so on, is to keep my channels open. That's what I'm trying to do. If I make it, and that days that I'm totally opaque, and that days that I'm like, it's flowing in tons, and then my system, which come back to the uncontrolled muscle, would do its selection. And then in one way I can be totally amazed and inspired by an ant carrying a gigantic thing over a head, because this is what they do. It's just amazing. So that turn of proportion, and then I go on and do a sculpture about proportion. So inspiration is an ensemble of elements that come together and bond vertically, horizontally, in a 3-dimension, that creates this mass that makes you feel something. If I had to choose now, I would not intellectualize or think about anything. I would like to go to places where there were more spirituality rather than cement. I have a very specific, to me, relationship with objects. I have a dialogue with the objects. They speak to me and I speak to them. It's sometimes something that I understand or something that I don't understand, and that's how I live my life. But I don't possess them for their value. I possess them. I want them. So it's not what I need. It's what I want. What I would like necessarily, and it's something that I can't control, that I would like to have. I want comfortable shoes because I'm walking and I need to walk comfortably. My grandfather said, comfortable bed and comfortable shoes. All the rest is variables. I have incredible encounters with people. When it's somebody I know, I call them. If somebody that I know comes into my dream, I call them or text them or mail them, but I'm saying, hey, you've been into my dream. And it's a way for me to say hello. Sometimes it's in a critical moment, sometimes it's in a beautiful moment, sometimes it's a horrible moment for them or for me, but it's something that I do. And I love that because my dreams are extremely tactile and very, it's a real experience. I feel everything in my body, or at least I think that I feel, or I wake up with that feeling that I felt it. And I love it and I don't want to leave my dreams. I'm nearly vegetarian in many ways. So the more it is, the less it is cooked, the better it is. Organic, tasteful, flavorish, kind of Mediterranean food is something that I like very much. Water. So I have a little story. When I arrived to Paris, because it's completely related to this, I arrived to Paris, and the first thing I did is I went and I took the money I had and I bought a bicycle. I was living in like 6 square meters under the roof. I had, it was like zero from zero. So I ran and I said I hate the metro. So I needed a mean of transportation. I always was riding bikes, so I bought a bike. I'm riding these bikes. They are maybe 3 days old, literally. They have the little thing on the tires because they're so new. And I drive in Paris, exploring, understanding where I am. And I go through a different bicycle shop. And I pass the bicycle shop and I feel there's something, holding me behind, like holding my shirt. And I look at the back, I see one pair of bike outdoor in the used bike section. I go to the shop and I say to the guy, I want to buy this bike. I didn't even look at it. I didn't expect it. I didn't inspect it. I was just, he said, but you have a bike. I said, yes, but I want this bike. He said, but you have a new bike. How old are they? I said, I bought that 3 days ago from that other shop that he knew. He said, so why do you want this bike? I said, I need this bike. These are my bike. The bike I bought are not my bike. So first he thought I'm crazy. And I said, so, okay, if you want to buy it, buy it. I said, well, I'll give you my bike, my new bike, that's worth probably 5 times the bike. And that was a Jewish rap thing out of my business incentive. Why would I give him something which is 5 times more of material value? But at that moment, I didn't care because it wasn't the material value. So I immediately read his mind. He said, no. He said, this guy stole this bike, wants to give it to me and take that bike, and I'm staying with the stolen bike. So I said, you think I stole the bike, right? He said, yes. I said, well, I'll come this afternoon with a receipt from the shop. I'll give them to you. I want this bike. Please don't sell this bike. So I came the afternoon with a receipt. He said, yeah, okay. So you really want to do it? You're crazy. I said, yes, I want to do it. I'm still riding this bike. This is 30 years ago. I had this bike. I love this bike. I've restored them 1 billion times. I gave them to my son, and when I come to Paris, he lends them to me, and I ride them, and I love it, and I feel something. It was the final dinner. I lived for 4 months in Japan, and I went to this final dinner for an amazing, outstanding restaurant with my friend Ichiro Atayama, who was a great designer, and have learned a lot from him. Takes me to this amazing place for dinner. And in Japan I don't know how it is in India, for when you have foreigners, you put the challenges in front of them. And so this is mild, it's not so spicy, and the guy's like burning and fire from everywhere. So comes a plate that big with a flambeau, okay, with a flame, and there is a snail shell. I swear. Let me find something. I don't know, nearly that big, right? Like a pyramid like that. I say, well, wow. I mean, I don't eat snails. I don't get connected to this kind of food, but you have to, because you cannot disappoint your host. I know what the next film I'm going to see. Dune. I'm going to see Dune. The new Dune. I love the old Dune. I hope I'm going to love the new Dune too. The last film, the last film was the last Star Wars, actually. In between confinement or something, or just before. So I can't remember anymore going to a cinema. I am Arik. It's the best I can do. All of it. All of me. We are so different. If you had 20,000 artists or designers, let's say to the artist, say, make a painting. You're going to have 20,000 different paintings. If you tell 20,000 designers, make a table, you're going to have 20,000 different tables. To want to squeeze that down and generalize and globalize is the biggest mistake we have ever done. You're going to be surprised. I love Indian music. since ever. I remember first record player I got, my first CD was Tariatma and Najma. I'm talking about 30 years ago. And I still listen to Tariatma. It was an amazing group. Tariatma was the percussion and stuff. It's Indian music is like traveling through space. It's just unbelievable. Well, I like now my latest passion is pan drums. Tongue drum, I would call them. I'm not an amazing drummer, but I have a very good rhythm because I frustratedly haven't been, not frustratedly, but unfortunately haven't really learned to play the piano properly or guitar or whatnot. So the thing you can do everywhere, on your table, on your chair, on your head, is to drum, which is why drumming was the first thing people do in communication with the stone, or what is it, the wood drums and so on. I'd like to be able to draw. I draw so badly. Not to sleep. I need more time. I don't have time. I want time. I don't have time. So we sleep a third of our life. If you think about it, it's crazy. So if you die at 90, you were sleeping for 30 years. No. I'd like to spend the money that it will cost me to go to Mars and plant 500,000 trees because I live here. Fear. I fear fear. Well, I'm Israeli, so we have a different relationship with that. But as I age, I have more consideration for fear of things of which I don't control. Yes, we surfed together in the Dominican Republic. I like it very much. We're friends, and so one time he came. We usually go to the Dominican Republic to kite surf and surf. There's a great place called Cabarete, and you can surf in the morning. So I surf wave riding in the morning and kite surfing or windsurfing all through the afternoon, and it's a fantastic place. Yeah, congratulations for your new kid, and let's get together on the water soon because it's been too long. Apple. Everlasting. And eccentric. Lungo. Cappuccino. Early bird. Arik Levy. Painting it. Water. Suspension. Expression. Spirituality. Life. Color. Sound. Dream. Everything. Love. Keep on doing everything I love doing.